Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ, Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. We're going to the fucking Super Bowl. 1-0, baby. 1-0. God.
You can't be 17-0 if you're not 1-0.
I forgot just the existential joy every day, like every minute of every day feels like when your NFL team's coming off of a win. It's like you just got laid last night. Hopping around, hopping your step, the sun's shining, the grass is greener, birds are chirping. It's been great.
It feels even better when you play better than the other team. Like, it gives you reason for optimism. Like, if we would have, wanted some flukish play or something, we'd be like, all right, well, but all we're hearing is good things. We're hearing good things from each other, from the Raiders, from the Raider Nation, from, mainstream media. We're hearing good things from everyone because, we played pretty good.
I don't know, dude. If some guy on the Patriots tripped on a green dildo, fumbled, and we won that way, I think I'd still feel pretty fantastic.
Of course, you'd feel fantastic, but we're also being fed constantly good news and about the team.
What's the NFL equivalent to a green dildo getting thrown on an NFL field? If a green dildo is what you throw on a WNBA court, what do you throw on an NFL field? Syringe?
A green gold digger?
Green gold digger. Just a chick just painted green. Just just flopping on the
lips.
She knows the contract of all 53 players.
Yeah, she knows all the contracts of all the practice squad guys, and
some dude in section 100 just slings some slut onto the field.
She has 8 or 9 different agents on speed dial.
And then, of course, all the fuddy-duddy writers just clutch their pearls about it. There's just no place for the game of the sport. It is unacceptable. Okay, dude, relax. Yeah, fantastic, man. Beautiful. Thank God. So I said it before. I was like, dude, we could not lose to Josh McDaniels. It just I don't care if the defense sucks for the next 16 games. I can forgive that as long as we held Josh McDaniels to one touchdown, and it had to come after a turnover. One fucking touchdown. They couldn't run the ball. They were inconsistent passing the ball. It was so beautiful. God bless Josh McDaniels. I'm so glad we get to play him.
Yeah, they did not play well offensively. Like you said, they scored their lone touchdown off of a turnover. The first field goal that they had was a gift from that Caillou Blue Kelly on 3rd and 15 or something like that. It was a long third down play that he was called a flag for pass interference.
Yeah, the bullshit one.
Extended that drive and gave him the field goal. And then the last field goal was just garbage time when, the defense was just bend, don't break. And, they only ran the ball twice in the second half.
Yeah, they're it's typical Josh McDaniels, right? It's typical Josh McDaniels. It's I have this bulletproof style of play. I have this scheme that if you just do it, it's unbeatable. It's impossible. I've got this magic formula. I just need a quarterback to do it, and we'll never ever lose. It's enjoy your 13 points. You're lucky to get that.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for him to have Ramondre Stevenson to spend a very high pick in the first round on an offensive lineman, and then the second round pick you pick a really good running back and you don't use them. It just doesn't make sense. Part of the reason why we were able to be so effective even late in the game, even though we weren't gaining a lot of yards running the ball, we still ran the ball. We ran the ball 24 times. Mm-hmm. So early in the game, Ashton Jeanty popped a couple of runs, 9-yard run, 7-yard run, stuff like that. And he scored a touchdown. So the defense knew that they had to play the run honest or Ashton Jeanty could hurt him. So even though he wasn't getting a lot of yards per carry, he was still affecting the game by Chip Kelly being committed to the run. It still helped our play action pass, especially late in the game. So I mean, Josh not only running the ball twice is in the second half is crazy. And you had the lead in the second half. You had the lead.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, Patrick Graham slapping his dick on the forehead of Josh McDaniels is my favorite part of it. Broader parts of it that I really liked. Normally when there's like the game's on the line, or it's a tight game, or it's a close game, or it's a crucial point in a game, it's your stars that deliver, right? Like that's why you pay them, that's why they're there, that's their role, etc. That wasn't the case on Sunday. Like the stars ate, right? Brock had 100 yards, Geno had almost 70. Max Crosby had a bunch of pressures and a sack. Like the stars did they ate, but there were so many critical moments when it was just a rookie or we had so much pressure from our our defensive tackles that weren't, they're not the ones that get the attention, right? It's the ends are the big money guys. Polamalu got the interception, right? He's not a rookie, but he's kind of, was just got on his first deal, only 2-year deal, not a star by anyone's metric. Thornton had that crucial 3rd and 20, right? First down that Michael Mayer was clutch multiple times. It was like the clutch moments came from the supporting cast. And to me, I credit coaching where you guys aren't the complete 365 tool players that we're hoping you'll be one day, but you can do this, right? So we're going to write up game plans and scripts to make you successful in very specific elements. And we saw that, right? Like so many contributions from so many kind of like unknown to the national audience players.
This is exactly what Pete Carroll said. And this is what I've been saying for quite some time. And this is why I got a little irked about the whole Amari Cooper is going to stunt the growth of the young wide receivers, because Jack Besh wasn't asked to do a lot, but he contributed. He caught a first down pass. Mm-hmm. Dante Thornton didn't contribute a ton, but he got a couple of catches, and they were both first, or 2 of them were first downs. They're not. Pete Carroll plays young players. He plays them often, but he doesn't give them the entire playbook to do. Yeah. And he said from the very beginning, I play young players. I did it in college with freshmen. I did it in the pros with rookies, but I'm not asking him to do everything. The way he brings them along is he makes them. He lets them do what they do well. Maybe they can do other things, but not really that well. He won't have them do that stuff. Just do the things you can do well. Get confidence, get some experience, get some games under your belt, and we'll slowly increase you as the year goes along. So then you're in the middle of the season, late season push, and you have a lot of guys that are heavy contributors because they were brought along slowly and not their confidence wasn't crushed early in the season. They're not confused because they're asking to do too much in the beginning. The playbook should not be a surprise to anybody, because this is what Pete Carroll has been preaching from the very beginning.
6 guys had multiple catches, right? Spreading the ball around. What we're looking for. So a couple narrative bustings. It's been one game, but there's a couple narrative bustings. And I don't know if we were like pushing this narrative and more kind of hyping the other way, but the Geno is trash outside storyline that was going on. Like his stats are obviously like ridiculously worse in open dome stadium, or open air stadiums than in domes, right? This was cross country, early window, rain, wind, outside, northeast. We went fucking bonkers.
No problem. So
killed it.
The issue that we're looking at here is it wasn't
third furthest depth of target out of anybody. Just slinging it.
It wasn't that he was terrible outdoors. It's just he was so good indoors that him just being slightly average looked really bad, because he's that much better indoors, and he's got like what 2 more outdoor games, Denver and Kansas City. That's it.
Philadelphia.
Oh, 3. Yeah, he's got 3 more outdoor games. That's it.
He has the outdoor game, Philadelphia in December. Very outdoors. He's so outdoors. He's setting traps for rabbits and hunting.
We'll be ready to rock.
He's building campfires. He's so outdoors. The other thing too that again it didn't get enough attention last season. We kind of talked about it last show. Just how atrocious our turnover ratio was last season. Like you're not going to win when you're last in turnover ratio all season until like the very end. Somehow the Browns overtook us. But when you're like minus 17, minus 20 turnover margin for like giant chunks of the season, you just can't win. We were even Steven Sunday, right? Which is when you're just not even a good turnover margin, right? Threw one pick, intercepted one pass, just even Steven. We're just not shooting ourselves in the foot. We're not grabbing the easy ones. We're not, 4-0 turnover margin getting the win. We're just basic, just standard, just even. And we were, around the third quarter, it was pretty comfortable, right? It was always a game, but, pretty comfortable. So we're not just throwing the ball away, dribbling it on the floor.
Yeah, we were much better with the ball. We had the opportunity for a couple of more takeaways. The strip sack by Malcolm Kuntz just kind of bounced around in between a couple of people's legs, and the Pats ended up landing on it. And I am a firm believer that strip sack of by Max Crosby, that was a sack. It was called an incomplete pass, but I think it was a sack.
Looked like an empty hand.
Looked like an empty hand moving forward, but whatever. That would have sealed the game, but that looked like a third turnover. Our turnover had to be an amazing play by a corner just to tip the ball, and then an even more amazing play for the safety to tap his toes in after he picks it out of the air. So it had to be like a tip ball, like a fluke type of. Usually those tip balls go out of bounds.
Two guys on the quarterback. Like Max was around his hips, and I think it was Booker. Booker was fucking everywhere. Like Booker was in his face.
No, I'm talking Geno Smith.
Oh, Geno's. Yeah.
Geno's interception was like usually the tip by Carlton Davis. Usually that tip ball goes out of bounds, but it goes up in the air, and then the safety behind him, catches it in tight ropes. That was kind of a fluky thing, but
on Brock, who was open, but it was thrown late and the window closed. Like it kind of like everything had to kind of merge there. But to your point, the other way too, like that was a team interception.
Yeah, Max was a star of that. Even though it pulled him out, caught the ball, Max made it happen.
Max was around his waist, and Booker was like right in his face. Like it was like a good team set up right there, and then great catch, beautiful. That's something I'm really going to follow this season because, like we said, like I know it's like the most boring YouTube conversation is like the math of turnovers, but when it's that drastic, when we were like the worst of like the last 15 years of picking up fumbles, second worst team turnover ratio, like it always swings back to the median, right? It always like those numbers don't stay that way the whole time, right? And so, like, I'm gonna follow it and make you guys bore yourselves to death. You may change the channel, but it fucking matters. There's no stat, there was no metric that means more to wins and losses than turnover margin. So we're gonna discuss it because it's just that goddamn important. We'll put on our nerd glasses and be in the nerdery and do nerd stuff, so you don't have to.
Pete Carroll, he has a formula. He wants a +5 in sacks and turnovers. When teams are +5 in sacks and turnovers in a game, they're a +90% winning percentage. So he wants to get more sacks than them, and he wants to get more turnovers. It was even. We each turned the ball over once, and then we each had 4 sacks. But that's kind of what he preaches.
Yeah. So if you remember, in July we did a show where we had a question for every all 17 games, and it's it was our question for each, and it's kind of a nice time capsule of like what we were thinking back in July, and if it's like the case, moving forward. The first one's kind of a whatever, right? But our question was, has the new offensive pieces gelled? And I think everyone's kind of ahead of schedule. Like we'll get to the run game because obviously, that was pretty terrible, our run game, although pretty much everything else was either at standard or above. When it comes to Geno jiving with his targets, when it comes to guys running their routes, like we didn't have like guys running into each other like we have before in crucial moments. It didn't seem like anyone was really all that lost. Penalties more than I'd like, but pretty safe to say, man, like it was a very real possibility that these guys weren't going to gel right away, right? New head coach, new owner, new quarterback, new running back, new offensive coordinator. Like, it's a very real possibility that these guys just aren't going to multiple rookies with multiple roles on the offense. And at least passing game wise, seemed to emerge pretty good.
Yeah. Hang on.
They're after you. You got to move out of the hood.
I know.
Or stay in the hood. Keep us prepped. To balance out my white ass Huntington Beach, Orange County person. Got some street cred.
So one thing that a lot of people aren't talking about is the game called by Chip Kelly. He schemed some guys wide open, and we can't forget that Chip Kelly's a major get. He was a major get for us. There was a reason why. I think you and I were both pretty excited about the hire.
Get. Yeah.
Right. Well, you know what? It is, as long as it pays for itself on the field. And first game, these guys looked like, I don't know anyone that looked better offensively. Like, we did pretty good passing the ball, and we moved the ball, and we were in control of the game, and especially in the second half. The adjustments were made, and that's when, in the first quarter of the season, you don't have a lot of tape, especially like with a Vrabel team with a bunch of new players, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have a lot of tape on that. So you really can't go off of tendencies. What you do is you need to be you need to have that intuition. You need to be able to what's the word I'm looking for? Anticipate. You need to anticipate what the opponents are going to do, and that comes with experience. And both all three of them, Patrick Graham, Chip Kelly, and Pete Carroll, have a lot of experience with that. And the first quarter of the season, that's usually where a lot of the coaching is won and lost as far as anticipation goes. Then you get into the tendencies and how do you prepare for that. So I think Chip Kelly being able to attack maybe what he sees that defenses have done in the past. One good thing about defenses and what they've done, the Chargers, man, they ran like the most zone out of almost anybody in the league in game one. And Geno against the zone against the Patriots was amazing. So we'll see what they have drawn up for them.
So the only issue, and it's not a small one by any means, is just the terrible O-line play. I didn't get to watch it live. I was flying back from Paris, and I was trying to avoid spoilers. As soon as I landed, it was congrats or fuck you, or I get all the messages about the game. And so I did everything opposite. I read all the stats, watched all the numbers, and then watched the game later, unlike everyone else who watched the game and then afterwards you look at the stats, right? So I'm like, how the fuck did we only score 20 points when Geno Smith threw for 362 and only one pick? The answer, 4 sacks and all those penalties. Mm-hmm. Those are drive killers, absolute drive killers. You lose 7 yards, 10 yards on a play. A sack, you lose, 7 yards, and you lose the down. A penalty, you lose, 5, 10, 15 yards. You keep the down, but still, they just destroy drives. It was that's why we didn't put up 41 with the kind of offense that Geno Smith was doing. All those long bombs he was throwing, everyone had a 20-yard catch, pretty much, right? It's just that's why those sacks and those penalties we talk about we didn't really shoot ourselves in the foot. That was the shooting ourselves in the foot, giving up all those sacks. New England has 2 of the best defensive tackle tandems in football. It's at the first game, like we said, a lot of rookies. There's going to be some penalties, but that's all. We obviously know what needs to be worked on this weekend.
The rookies caught making penalties.
It wasn't even. Yeah, true.
Look, man, you and I both like Jackson Powers Johnson, but his play showed you why he got beat out for center. His footwork, his technique. He gave up 2 sacks, 2 of the cleanest sacks. He got beat clean both times. One was a footwork issue. One was a technique issue. He had that bonehead penalty for the late hit. This is exactly what Richie Incognito said in his interview.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's got to play more under control. He has to learn how to play with technique before he can take people's heads off. His footwork is just, I'm hearing a lot of excuses. Well, he's not a guard. He's a center. He was a kick-ass center. He was not a kick-ass center. He was okay. He was good, but he wasn't great. He was still one of the most penalized centers in the NFL, and he didn't even play the whole season as a center. So we need to just slow down with the Jackson Powers Johnson talk. He has a lot to learn, and Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly, they're not going to get fooled by hype. They're not going to get fooled by fluff. What do you show on the field? If Jackson Powers Johnson doesn't straighten up, if he plays like this for too much longer, he's not going to have a job. I'm telling you that right now. Pete Carroll's not going to he never has. He never has. He shook up offensive lines when he had to at USC all the time. When people weren't showing and doing what they needed to do, they had to show bad technique, giving up sacks, big penalties. Dude, no, you're not going to play. I don't care how good you are. If we can't count on you, then you're not playing. And Jackson Powers Johnson had a terrible game. For the eyeball test, he had a bad game, the eyeball test. Then you look at PFF, and he was the worst graded player on the team. So it's not like, oh, well, maybe I should cut him some slack. No. He was bad, and he needs to get better. And it's like, okay, if your play is one thing, okay, right. But don't make any dumb mistakes that get 15-yard penalties. But he did that too. So, you know, at least you could be one or the other. You don't be both.
Well, Jackson Powers Johnson is the obvious, but he's far from like I think he's more of a symptom of a bigger problem. Because like Jackson Powers Johnson was bad. Dylan Parham and DJ Glaze were almost just as bad. Like those were three of the lowest. Oh, those are three of like the lowest graded PFF linemen of week one. Three of our 5-star, right? Like three of our starting linemen were all terrible, right? So that's why it's like, okay, yes, like I'm not making excuses for Jackson Powers Johnson, but it seems like a bigger thing than just the one guy. Although I understand like there's so much fandom behind him, and that's kind of where it comes from. But there's clearly a bigger issue here when three of your 5 starting linemen played their worst games of their career, like close to the worst game of their career all at one time, right? Again, defensive tackles of New England, pretty damn good. First game. But to me, it's a symptom of multiple things. One, maybe those 3 guys just aren't it, period. Like that could be it. We're not going to give up after one game, but we're all keeping an eye on all 3 of those guys after that first game. 2, it's been several years of not committing to the O-line, right? Like you extended Colton Miller, you drafted a 2nd rounder who started right away. You drafted a 3rd rounder who started right away. You just really like there were guys out there like we really of the last several years wanted to commit to bringing in some really good offensive linemen. We could have, we didn't. Swings and misses by the Gruden era.
Like you took Alex freaking Neverwood instead of Christian Darrisaw.
Literally anybody else.
Christian Darrisaw was right there, dude. He was right there.
So those are those 2 big problems, and then and you know one of them's a long running issue that isn't going to be fixed overnight. But here's another thing no one's talking about, man. The offensive line coach for the Raiders has never been an offensive line coach before. He's been an assistant, but he's never like had the job. And it's Pete Carroll's son, Brennan, right? Like nepotism is fine when it works, right? Like no one's pissed that Kyle Shanahan is the head coach of the Niners. He's great, right? Okay, so his dad was a coach and that's why he got the job. He's a fantastic coach. Like no one's mad at that. Pete Carroll bringing in his sons, this was a crucial coaching vacancy to fill. It was an inexperienced, below average O-line on paper. And with, like I said all the time, an offensive coordinator that demands a lot of his O-line. Like he needs his O-line to do a lot. And Pete just kind of brought in his son that's never been in that seat before. I'm not saying he's not qualified or can't do the job, but he has his hands full. And if the O-line can't get its act together, like they're not going to get rid of 3 O-linemen. They can't go back in time and fix half a decade of bad free agency and drafting. It's on Brendan Carroll. Like he has his hands full and he needs to deliver.
Yeah, well, I mean, Brendan Carroll was an offensive coordinator in college, so he's plenty qualified to do it. Chip Kelly is also a very experienced offensive coordinator. They just have a lot on their plate, and they need to perform. They need to do better. Everyone. It's not that anyone who's doing the job is not qualified. Everyone who's there is qualified to do it. They just have a little bit more to buy.
Brent has the resume, right? He has the resume that says I can be an O-line coach in the NFL. Does he have the capability? He's never done it yet, and he's got.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
something I'm following.
He's not in over his head. He's got the capability of doing it. He's got a lot. He's got a lot to work with. How much different is the offensive line this year than it was last year? Not much. Like everybody who started was on the team last year and played last year. So that wasn't a great offensive line. And, we got a couple of young guys in the third round who show some promise, but they're not ready yet. And, Pete Carroll's not a wish and a prayer type of guy. He's going to put people in there who know what they're doing. Just like this whole thing about giving them what they can handle, that's not just a skill player position motto. It's for everyone. So he's not going to put those young linemen in if he wants to, unless they're ready to rock. So hopefully, they can hold the ship until maybe some of the younger guys can go in there and start playing some more reps. But man, it didn't look good. It didn't look good, and it's a testament to Geno Smith and to Chip Kelly to be able to work around all that and still produce the way they did.
Luckily, Geno Smith has a black belt in delivering when your O-line doesn't. Like, is there any quarterback in the NFL you'd rather have there with a turnstile O-line blocking for you? It's probably Geno. Maybe one of the really good running quarterbacks, but
Geno,
he's gonna have to do
Allen. I mean, Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines, but there's a very small handful of quarterbacks you would choose. Another thing too, you take a look at the eyeball test. Drake Maye is a legit dude coming out of college. Number 3 overall pick. It was him, and if Jaden Daniels didn't have an amazing senior year, his last year in college, it was going into the season. It was Drake Maye or Caleb Williams. Who's going to be the number 1 pick? And Drake Maye is legit, man. He's got good skills and he's very talented. But you could see there's a big difference between the arm of Geno Smith and the arm of Drake Maye. Geno Smith has have more pop on his arm, tight spirals, even in the rain, cuts through the rain, accurate. People need to put some respect on Geno Smith's name. Geno Smith has a really good NFL arm. I'm not going to say elite right now, but he look at the stats the last few years. He's up there.
And Drake Maye has Josh McDaniels as an anchor, just dragging his career down into no man's land, because that's what he does to every single goddamn quarterback.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. I've been hearing things that maybe they don't trust Drake Maye enough to run the full offense, but he throws it 46 times in a game. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. He only run twice. With, Ramondre Stevenson is a good freaking back. He's a good running back. Trayvon Henderson, at least in college, he was an excellent running back.
I think Henderson's going to be a problem moving forward. I think not right now. I think he's going to be.
I don't understand why are you not running the ball? I get it. You're up, 10-7, and then after the first drive of the third quarter, you're down 14-10. I get it. You're down, but you're only down 1 score. You could still run your entire offense only down 1 score in the middle of the third quarter. You don't have to panic and just start throwing the ball over. And that's exactly what happened. They abandoned the entire. I just don't get Josh McDaniels doing that when you spend that much capital to fortify your offensive line, which is not all pass blocking, but run blocking too. And then you spend your next pick on a freaking running back who's good. And then you don't give him the ball.
I don't know if JMD just has like the greatest PR firm ever, but this is who he is when he's not under Belichick. Everywhere he's gone, every place he's been, every offense he's mastered as a head coach or OC has been dog shit. Dog shit. Unless it was Tom Brady doing all the research and throwing the rock. He's been terrible. Awful.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. No. It doesn't make. I mean, I will like anyone to sit me down and make that the calling of that game make sense. Doesn't.
I hope Josh McDaniels coaches in the AFC for the rest of his days because our defense is going to look amazing every time we play them. Ashton Jeanty, 2 yards average per carry. I thought he was a couple like minor notes. I thought he was fantastic in pass protection. He looked great in pass protection, and Lord knows he's going to have to do a lot of it with this O line.
Hey,
right?
he mopped up a couple of DJ Glaze mistakes.
He knew where to go. He knew which side to shift to.
He was pointing out blitzes.
And he wasn't like laying dudes out, but he's doing what a quarterback's supposed to do. Bought an extra second and a half, right? Just lay the hit, pass it on. Hey, and if you're gonna put a shoulder in and run your route, he was doing that. I thought he was great there. Did a lot of good things, despite the fact he didn't run the rock all that great. Here is our buddy Chris Sims on Ashton Jeanty. Take a listen.
I know he's the star and everyone wants to know that, but I mean, that was the only thing he could talk about. I will say this right off I don't like the way Ashton Jeanty looks. I do not. He has not impressed me once yet. There's a lack of explosion that I think is lacking for a guy that was drafted in the top 10 right now. I'm hoping I'm wrong because I loved watching him in college football, but I've not been thoroughly impressed to this point at all.
Fair criticism?
I think the problem was the exact opposite. I think that he was a little bit too anxious and not patient enough.
Dude, his touchdown run was pure explosion. It was poorly blocked. It wasn't really a hole. It was nothing but explosion, that touchdown run.
They gave him a little seam the first 2 times he touched the ball, 9-yard run, 7-yard run, dragging guys, for multiple yards after contact. After that, he got a little bit jumpy. He was tackled behind the line of scrimmage a couple times, got a little jumpy, didn't let blocks develop. He needs to calm down. He needs to be a little bit more patient, and he needs to just use his instincts a little bit more and just try not to hurry so much.
And Pete Carroll said as much, right? In the post-game presser or the day after, whenever it was, he said exactly that, right? So yeah, this whole there's some fair criticisms there, right? There's some things not in his control. Again, the old line was terrible, and I think New England just said it's Pete Carroll, it's a 6th overall running back. We're just gonna load up the box and stop the run, and that's why Geno Smith had 947 20-yard passes, right? It's like
they sold out to stop the run.
We'll throw it deep, right? And again,
after the first few runs with light boxes,
they're like, we're just gonna load it up.
Here's the thing: they were using a lot of motion. And I said this on the other show. I'm like, this offense during the season is going to look completely different. I think they shifted a player in the preseason one time, the entire preseason. Almost every single play there had players on the move to find favorable matchups, to move players off a spot. They were moving guys all over the place. And they had light boxes the first couple runs, and Jeanty ate them up. After that, they loaded the box and said, "Okay, well, Geno Smith, do your thing," and he did. And they sold out to stop the run. They picked their poison.
It's fair to have ridiculously high expectations for Ashton Jeanty because he was 6th overall, right? Like, it comes with giant expectations. You not only have to be fantastic, you have to be fantastic for the next 7 years. You have to be healthy. You have to be able to do everything you have to be able to run the rock. That's the bare minimum. You got to be able to catch passes, blah, blah, blah. So it's fair to have almost unfairly high expectations for Ashton Jeanty. But Chris Sims was I don't think he watched. I think just look at the stat line and said, I'm just not seeing explosion.
Wait.
We saw explosion.
Professional analysts do that?
He was so busy combing his hair. He didn't have time to watch the tape.
I don't know, man. That's kind of a bummer.
I saw explosion, but I think Pete Carroll said it best, right? Just like you said, it's like, slow it down, find your holes, find your gaps. Not every box is going to be this loaded, right?
It's just you have to make sure that what you're doing is going to help you win. And New England said, okay, stopping the run is going to help us win. We're going to have to let Geno go ahead and beat us. And he did. So they picked their poison in that respect because they saw what happens when they didn't. They still played it right. They still played it well. It's just, okay, we can't afford to not load up against the run against Ashton Jeanty because he's dragging us 3 or 4 yards after contact. So we have to sell out. We have to stop him before he starts going downhill. And that's what they did. So if you want to do that, you're going to have light boxes and one deep high safety. Fine. We'll figure that out.
Mm-hmm. So big Monday night game. We're in prime time. We're in the season now, dude. We talk about a game, talk about another game, instead of like, oh, here's what we're hearing from this random reporter about what Pete Carroll might have farted at a bar one time. Like, no, we're talking football, baby. Raiders, Chargers, Monday Night Football, last game of week 2. Chargers won as well. Big win in Brazil over the Queefs. Chargers minus 3.5. Again, home, so indoor. We're going to track every single game this way because of Geno Smith and what everyone's saying. Long week for them. They played on Friday. Although I'd rather, Soto, if I'm a head coach, I'd rather play in America on Sunday than play in Brazil on Friday. Like, they have 2 extra days.
Yeah, it's a long because you basically lose 2 days in the flight.
Dude, so like this, this is a guy who flies to Brazil multiple times a year. And let me tell you, the flight's brutal. There's rarely directs. And this is the biggest thing is I don't know what number of Chargers players currently have diarrhea right now, but it's more than 0. Like, that's how brutal it is down there. Like, the water, the food, the little bugs you can catch. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, that's not getting reported. No one's saying it, but there is a number greater than 0 of Chargers players sitting on a toilet right now because they spent 5 days in Brazil.
Yeah, it's got to be accounted for. The number is higher than 0 for sure.
It is a thing. I'd rather give you the 2 days of rest and stay in the old US of A. I'd rather go all the way to Boston and back. Probably the farthest flight you can do of an actual team, right? Unless you're international. It's probably the furthest flight for the Raiders, right? The Northeast, like maybe Buffalo's a little further, but that's, I'd rather do that than do Brazil. At least Brazil's in the same like time zones. You're not like, going to Australia, you're losing your mind. Anyway, it's just exciting to have a primetime Raiders game that matters. Like, people are like, the general fan base is going to be excited for this Monday night game based on how these two teams played this last weekend.
Honestly, if you take a look at the landscape of the AFC West, and if you talk about the AFC West, you have to talk about the landscape of the AFC in general. I think most of the NFL is going to be interested in this game because out of the teams in the AFC, I think the Chargers and the Raiders are 2 of the teams that look the best in the AFC. So we'll see, man. We'll see how it works out. But anything can happen in a divisional game. But these are 2 of the teams that look the best, in winning out of the AFC.
Just
look, you could talk about the Bills' big comeback, but it took a miraculous comeback that the first 3.5 quarters or so didn't look great. Baltimore crapped the bed in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Those are who else are the big team? The Chiefs looked slow and old. They got moxie and they got the little, they got the experience, so they were able to keep the game close, but they didn't look great. Who else looked really good in the AFC?
Do you count the Colts?
Danny Dimes, dude. I mean, Danny Dimes. Look, the Broncos wanted to give away that game. Mm. They wanted to give it away, but just the Titans out-shittied them.
Yeah. The
Titans just gave it right back. But the Broncos wanted to give that game away. So you can't tell me all these teams that were like, great. Look, the Steelers and the Jets scored a lot of points, but they didn't play great defensively. You saw some big hits here and there, but you scored 35, 30, 38 points. So the defenses didn't really come to play. So point out the teams that are really impressive.
Injury reports, Denzel Perryman was he drafted by the Chargers? I know he was at the Chargers before us.
Yes.
He was drafted, right? So now it's,
Yes.
what's old is new again, right? High ankle sprain. He's listed as questionable, probably not playing. And our big one, obviously, Brock Bowers, questionable. How worried are you that Brock takes it to the field on Monday? I kind of am.
I think he's going to play. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
It's Brock. Like, if he has a slight hangover, I want to know about it, right? Because he's that good. But
no, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. I think if the game was closer, according to Pete Carroll, if the game was in jeopardy, he would have gone back into the game. But since they had the game in hand, they were up 10 at the end of the third quarter.
Why risk it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why risk it?
Another side note. Fan forecast for Raiders Chargers Monday Night Football game is 86% to 14% in favor of the Raiders, according to Vivid Seats. The average ticket to the game is selling for $380. When you deliver, it's two things. One, the Chargers have no fans, but two, when you put on a product, Raider Nation shows up in Vegas. Like, it gets a lot of shit because obviously every out of town team, like, you want to do a trip to Vegas, right? So it's like, okay, you're going up against that, but also the Raiders have sucked the entire time they've been in Las Vegas. You give us a reason, you give Raider Nation even the tiniest reason to not sell their tickets, they'll be there. It does, like, we're 1-0, one game, right? Beat the shitty Patriots. And it's like, okay, we're showing up. Tickets are expensive, but still it's going to be silver and black all the way through. Just a little bit of competitiveness, and Raider Nation will be there with bells on.
It's happened over and over. When the team wins, the Raider Nation shows up, and they're less apt to sell their tickets. And we'll see, man. We'll see if they ride the wave.
So questions from July. Again, we're going to do this for every single game. Has Jim Harbaugh'd the Chargers? Because he does the same thing with every team, right? Punch you in the face, stiff defense, run the ball, discipline, steal some signs, and then you got yourself a team. Has Jim Harbaugh, after one season and one game, Harbaugh'd the Raiders?
No, I don't think so.
I think this is the one time he doesn't want to, because he's got Justin Herbert. Like, he's got such a good fucking quarterback. It's like, why would you be a smash mouth team when Herbert just put up 318, 3 touchdowns?
He does it because it was the least amount that Justin Herbert's thrown in his career last year, but his numbers were great. He had like 24 touchdowns and like 3 interceptions, and then he had 4 in his first playoff game. So when Harbaugh can play that ball control offense, yeah, he can dial it up in a specific way to take advantage and pick his spots. I don't see him doing a Josh McDaniels and only running the ball 2 times in the second half. We're going to have to, bring our lunch pail. These guys are going to come to really play hard up front. They're not going to just throw the ball around the field. They're going to want to run the ball down our throat.
We better be ready for it. Our defensive line playing well. We're going to have to get a lot of pressure on Justin. That's just gotta. Coots and Crosby, Booker, they just gotta be all up in his grill, man. You gotta be like, what did Marcellus Wallace say in Pulp Fiction? I want a motherfucker jumping out of a bowl of rice. Like, you gotta be like, wherever, when he drops back, as soon as you see like 2 steps, like, someone's gotta be there, because he's gonna eat us alive if he has time.
You talk about Booker and how well he played. I think we all need to relax, because Ja'Cory and Bennett played 7 snaps against the Eagles, gave up 3 completions and a pass interference.
Made his mark. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Really.
And Booker is now starting for us at defensive tackle. Played a nice game. had a tackle for loss, some pressures. Ate up a lot of blocks that should have been going to Devin White and allowed Devin White to go out and make plays.
Tyree Wilson's sack was because of Booker. As good as his stat sheet was, it wasn't even like it doesn't even tell anywhere near the story.
So we need to just slow down with some of these things. And this is why I get it. I get attached to these players too, but I don't think any of us here are like a 12-year-old, tween that are like they fall in love with a specific player instead of the team. I think we're all Raider fans.
I can look up the demographics. We know we only have out of 10,000 subscribers, like 11 women.
Zero people under 14. Zero under 14, I bet you.
I bet you. What do we have? More 14-year-olds and younger, or women?
More women.
Because we only have like 14 women. We did the math a couple shows ago.
I remember that.
Regular hot dog carton here, boys. That's where I wore my tank top, trying to get the female audience.
You missed your blush. You gotta put your freaking glitter on.
Analytics, audience.
One thing I've been noticing though in the other show, I have quite a few females that actually participate in like the comment sections. Just kind of strange.
0% 13 to 17 years.
I told you.
One teenager.
0.
We're really not attracting the younger demographic. That's what the advertisers covet, is the younger demographic, and we're terrible at it. We gotta have sing some K-pop Demon Hunters or something. Do you know what that is?
What's that?
K-pop Demon Hunters.
No, what is it?
Good. It's literally the biggest thing for any girl between like 3 and 10. It's like a Netflix show where they like sing, and it's the biggest thing on earth. Like Frankie walks around singing the songs all the time. Good. I'm glad you don't know who that is. Well done.
Yeah, I'm a man. I'm what's called a male. I hang out with factory workers and fighters. That's it. I don't hang out with anybody else.
Just 45 minutes with Frankie, and you'll know every single song by heart. You can't stop singing it.
Oh, dude, Frankie, I'll fucking put a tutu on for that girl. Whatever she wants me to do.
Game preview picks. MJD, man, he always gives Raider love, and he's usually right. I think I think Maurice Jones-Drew wins every single season. The picks.
Yeah, there's always an issue when it's this one-sided. It's never what people think. People, I think most of these guys picked the Patriots as well.
Yeah, it wasn't this. It was like 3 to 7. It wasn't quite this extensive, but yeah, 3 to 7, 4 to 6, something like that. But yeah. No one believed in us on our way to the Super Bowl. 17-0. We're gonna win it all. Raiders want to win backs? Or anything else you want to say about the Monday night game? Got it all
just we just got to go out there and look, all these things out the window, okay? Because it was just one game. You could talk about the high number of zone that Jesse Minter and the Chargers ran in game one, and how good Geno Smith played against the zone, and that's on the Raiders side. But what does Pete Carroll like to do? One high, cover 1, cover 3, right? He likes a deep high safety, and Justin Herbert was just shredding that deep high safety up against the Chiefs. Was it because they were playing that? Because that's when they were blitzing, they played that, and he was beating the blitz. So what is he actually beating? Is he beating the deep high safety, or is he beating the blitz? Which one is it? I don't know. I didn't really look at it that deep, but you just throw that out the window. This is going to be a barroom fight, tight quarters, you and another dude in the hallway leading to the bathroom. There's not a lot of room. You gotta get there, and you gotta fight dirty. And the team that can fight the dirtiest for the longest is going to win this game.
It's funny. I think it's exactly the opposite. I think it's gonna be a finesse game between Geno and Justin. I think it's gonna be long bombs. It's gonna be who makes the least amount of mistakes, which wide receivers get separation. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, high flying game. Prime time game, home opener for the Raiders. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be like a circus game. It's like a wild passing fest.
I hope you're right. It's a lot more entertaining.
More fun, right? What up, Windbags? Super Omnicron's J44. This was in response to the question of the day was, what are you expecting or what are you hoping to see on the Raiders season opener? And he said, Jeanty outgaining Travion Henderson, Brock Bowers getting loose, at least one turnover and a touchdown, ending the game with a Raider win. All 5 happened. You called it. Literally everything Brock Bowers had 100 yards in only 3 quarters. Jeanty outgained Henderson. We got a turnover. And the Raiders won. Literally everything. We're going to need you, Super Omnicron, to say this every single game. Like, ask exactly what you want because it happened. Conceive, believe, achieve. Thank you, Super Omnicron. Now, I want you to say, when Soto and I go to the strip club, what do we want to see? I need you to say 5 fat booty Latinas that are on their last day on a bachelor party saying it's on the house. Please do that, Super Omnicron, because you have a gift and we got to use it wisely.
I also do like my ABGs.
What's an ABG?
Asian baby girl.
Oh, really?
A little Asian baby girl. I do. I like the big booty Latinas, or I like my Asians.
I've known you almost 20 years. I don't think I've ever seen you grab an Asian stripper, although I didn't really pay attention to who you were grabbing all that often.
I mean, if there's a black dude in the strip club, there's no way I'm getting an Asian stripper. That stripper is all is.
You're not gonna arm wrestle him for it.
that stripper is occupied. But I mean, no, yeah, I keep my eye out.
Okay. Daniel M3434. I love this level of petty. RJ F McDummy. I don't think that Josh McDaniels, every chance we can to shit on his name, is petty, unbecoming, or unfair. He's terrible. He's an asshole. He puts the blame everywhere on himself. He tried to make Derek Carr the scapegoat and then tried to make a feud between Aiden O'Connell and Derek Carr after he'd already left. Your rookie quarterback, you're like, I want him to have Derek Carr's number just to start shit with a player that's not on your team when you have a rookie who's got a million other things to worry about. Like, he treats people like shit. He points the finger everywhere else. This is Antonio Pierce. He was just simply in over his head, right? Like, he did his best. He wasn't qualified. Hey, best of luck to you, AP. You did your best, whatever. Josh McDaniels, he's the dude that like farts in the elevator, hits every single elevator button, and then walks out for no reason.
And then tells you to grow up when you're like, grow up.
Yeah. Dude.
You know what was funny? You just mentioned AP. He's on the CBS broadcast now, CBS Sports broadcast. And they were at the Packers, and who did the Packers play? Lions or something, I think?
No.
Whatever. Whoever they played. But it was at Lambeau. And they were talking about the Raiders. And they said, well, I think Pete Carroll is going to do great because of X, Y, and Z. And he got his quarterback
and his running back.
He's like, he's all, I didn't do that well there because I didn't get my quarterback, and my running back is playing for these guys. And you know what? It's kind of hard to argue. I'm pretty sure he didn't want his first choice wasn't Gardner Minshew, and I'm pretty sure his first choice was to keep Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. He was dealt, like we said, he was dealt a tough hand, and he
didn't do anything. He didn't help himself any.
He played it. He was dealt. Yeah, he was dealt. Low pair, and he went all in against a guy that like was showing his 3 of a kind. He's just like, yeah, just totally in over his head. Totally in over his head. Speaking of, funny you brought that up. Reese Y Rock 1369. talking about Antonio Pierce. To get the CBS job, he had to job the Chiefs and sell us out. Seeing him in that Chiefs uniform did bug me. Not in a uniform, but in that red.
It's tough.
It shouldn't bother me because I'm an adult, right? I understand. Like these guys, no single NFL player, coach, admin, whoever has loyalty to a team. It's a job, right? Like anything. Like you'll like working at one place more than another. You know, like I miss working at Tap Out Magazine way more than I miss working at DHL selling shipping. But you know, I went where the money was. I had to, you know, get a job, whatever, right? Like. That's the same with all these coaches and players. It's like, no, I'm here to make a living, make a salary, make as much as I can, as fast as I can, and I'll go where the money is, even though maybe you'll like some players, you know, some places more than others. But just like he still smelled like the black hole and was wearing that Chiefs red. Nah.
It's once the season started, once it got close to the season, I was like, whatever. I'm not really worried about it anymore. Because look at it from this perspective. Pete Carroll and Tom Brady both grew up as 49er fans. And now they're here. So it's like, okay, whatever. You're here now. And I don't think Tom Brady's going anywhere anytime soon.
He legally can't. Like he'd have to sell. He'd have to sell his shares. And there's like a probation period or something. It's like it's crazy when you buy into an NFL franchise, like the stipulations that are put on you. Although I don't think Fox cares anymore. They're like no longer like caring to like they're like pretending to care that he's a broadcaster and a team owner. They're just like, you can go to the meetings. We don't give a shit. We all know what this is.
I think they figured out that it wasn't a big deal.
All right, that's it for us. Monday night game, which means we get to enjoy Sunday football, you know, not unencumbered, but just enjoy it for the sake of football. Get the bets in, play some fantasy, drink some beer, eat some wings, not be completely like latched onto one game and having everything depend on that. Just enjoy football.
I have some news.
You're pregnant. Oh my God. I'm so happy.
Yeah, thank you. I am, for the first time in almost 30 years, completely 100% fantasy sports free.
Mother of God. Are you going to like get a doctorate with all your free time?
Dude, it's great.
Are you going to learn 7 languages with all the free time you have now?
It's so great. It's so great. I'm able to do pretty much anything I want. And there's just the level of stress not having to really give a shit about other games. Like the level of stress, that's a relief. It's great, man. I recommend it highly. If you're in an old league out of obligation and you don't want to really do it anymore, don't do it. I'm telling you, I'm fantasy sports free and it's amazing.
I'm going to go to your apartment and you're going to like have painted the ceiling, the Sistine Chapel, just because you have so much free time, brain power. The stress is lower now. No wonder you don't drink anymore. You're not stressing over fantasy football.
Dude, it feels great. No fantasy. I used to do fantasy baseball too. Fantasy baseball's tough.
That's a full-time job.
Fantasy baseball is tough, and you were only allowed 9 starting pitchers a week. So you had to like look at the matchups, and it was not chill, dude. I don't miss it at all. I feel after this, I feel great.
I don't know. To me, it would feel like driving without my driver's license. Football Sunday without fantasy football. I'd be like, I'm missing something. I'm gonna get caught. Something's wrong here. Might have to do it one day.
Feels good.
All right. Well, until then, knock on wood if you're with me. Well, look at you making it to the end of this video. You look like you want more. Go ahead and click the next video. And if you really love it, go ahead and subscribe.